This is a limited edition headphone by Oraimo and Burna Boy. Only 20 of these headphones will exist in the world, and I have one right here.
Yo, Fisayo, as a city boy, I need you to test my headphones, man.
Of course.
Let
Why
me
not?
know what you think about it.
You know what? Say less. Here are 20 things to know about these headphones. And number 15 is super helpful, but are they any good? Without further ado, let's get to the video. The unboxing experience of this device was pretty epic to me. First off, there are two versions of these headphones. The Moonlight edition, which is the limited edition, and there will only be 20 as I said, and then the standard edition. Let's check them out together. The limited edition comes in this large box, and upon opening it, the sides of the box falls apart, and you get this stand or cradle where the headphones case rests on. But we'll get into the headphone in a bit. There's a branded document folder with some information from Oraimo and a handwritten letter by Burna Boy at the back. Of course, you get a lot of exclusive stickers and the manual. Oraimo even added a hard case, and when you look inside, you get these ear tips, which they claim are antibacterial, and a Type-C charging cable. Finally, you get the Burna Boy exclusive doll. I'll get into how much this costs, but let's move on to the standard version. For the standard headphones, the box is much smaller in size, and upon opening that, you get the headphones, Burna Boy's letter, the manual, the USB-C cable, and ear tips. What you should know is that they all come with nearly the same accessories, but the only difference is that you get a hard case for the limited edition and limited edition stickers, as well as something the citizens of Twitter had a lot to talk about: the Burna Boy doll, or the Burna doll. It's not a Funko Pop, but the build quality and material is very good. It's definitely worth it if you're a fan of Burna Boy and you like collectibles like this. And I want to keep it, but sadly I have to return it. Let's talk about the design of these headphones and the case. The whole idea of the SpacePods is space. The limited edition version is called Moonlight Edition, and we'll see why in a bit. Burna Boy also has an album called On a Spaceship, which may or may not have played a role in the naming scheme of these headphones. The case's texture is supposed to mimic the rough landscape of the moon, and according to them, it should feel like concrete, and it does. But one thing stands out. When you open the standard SpacePods, you have your headphones as expected. The limited edition SpacePods has a difference. It lights up when you open it up. Looking at them side by side, you can see that this creates a glow like an eclipse, and there's that moon curve. The build quality of the SpacePods is quite good. It's plastic, but it doesn't feel cheap. It also doesn't feel like something that will spoil when you drop it. The roundness of the bottom and the flat side on the top lets you have this bowl-like shape. And once you slide it open, you can take your headphones out and drop them in with ease. It reminds me of those old sliding phones. You've got a status indicator on the outside and inside of the case as well. I personally can't get over the ring light that these SpacePods have. I just really like it. It's giving lunar eclipse. Looking on the inside, when you take these headphones out, there's a text with Burna Boy's name on the regular one, and on the limited edition version, you have the text there, but you cannot see it immediately. You have to go right outside under the sun for ultraviolet light to hit it so it will show the name inscribed there. And I think they just wanted to make the more affordable one special, and I will mention the price later in the video. But one thing to note is that on both sets of these headphones, you have Burna Boy's text on the stem of the headphones. If you thought the design of the SpacePods looks familiar, you'll be right. The design is on par with Oraimo's black and white FreePod 4. The SpacePods just have a little bit more pizzazz. Say you've got an Android device or an iPhone or a Mac or any device with a screen and a Bluetooth connection. In that case, you can connect these headphones via Bluetooth. If your Android device is beyond Android 6.0, which I think many people have by now, it should appear automatically like this, and you can click to connect. Once you get your SpacePods, check the manual for this QR code and use it to download the Oraimo Sound app. Or you can just go to the App Store and search for Oraimo Sound and download the one with this icon. Now, the Sound app is very useful if you want to maximize the functions of the SpacePods. I'll explain later in a bit, but on the app, you can see the battery level of each earbud and the case. You can also control the noise levels. So here you can set it for noise cancellation, turned on or turned off, or you can set it for transparency. And if you wish, you can set it to game mode. It's not a special edition headphone if you don't hear Burna Boy's voice. Burna Boy will be living with you for the rest of the time you have these headphones. Once you remove the headphones from their case and put them on, you'll hear Burna Boy say pairing. Once you've connected the headphones via Bluetooth, you hear the words connected. If you turn Bluetooth off or disconnect your headphones, he'll also let you know by saying disconnected. So Odogu has you covered. He also says transparency, noise cancellation off, noise cancellation, game mode, and powering off. When you turn off game mode via the app, he will say normal. These voice prompts are the same for both editions of these headphones. In terms of multifunctional controls, you can do them with each stem of your earbud. Now, with each SpacePod, there is a touch sensor located at the top in the circular part of the stem. Tapping the circle on either ear will pause or play whatever you're listening to. Tapping it once will also answer a phone call. Tapping either ear twice will skip to the next track, or tapping either ear 3 times will go to the previous track or start the track you're listening to again. Pressing and holding the multi-control is another gesture, and the left and right ears have separate functions. If you press and hold the left ear and you hear 2 beeps, it will turn on transparency. So now you can hear the outside world clearly. Pressing and holding for 2 beeps again will turn off noise cancellation. Doing this again will also turn on noise cancellation. I also noticed that 3 beeps will do the exact same thing as 2 beeps. For the right ear, pressing and holding it for 2 beeps will activate your voice assistants for whatever you're using, whether you're using a phone or a laptop. If you want to hang up a call, pressing and holding the right touch sensor for 2 beeps will do that. Pressing and holding the right ear for 4 beeps will switch you to game mode. And if you want to go even further with these controls, head to the sound app and click on the earbud control. Here you can tweak each ear for a tap or a double tap or anything you want really. So I can tweak the left ear to control music alone, and I can tweak the right ear to control volume alone. I can do any combination I want. So I can tweak it for volume where I single tap to decrease or double tap to increase the volume, or I can even set it to do nothing at all. So if you're pissed that you keep accidentally tapping your earbuds, well, you can turn off all the controls and it will work for both ears. They will be useless and they'll just play your music or whatever. I wrote the entire script of this video you're watching while listening to the entirety of Burna Boy's album, and I listened to it from the beginning to the end. I started with 100% battery, and I'll share how the battery life fared in the 19th point, but the vocals and the instrumentals were very outstanding, and I'm not trying to use colorful words here. I was impressed. So I listened to it on the limited edition version and the standard edition version, not like they were in the same headphones, but I got the same audio quality. For the mic test, I'll be recording something now for you guys to hear. So here's how the microphones of the oraimo SpacePods sound. Let me know what you guys think about this sound quality you're hearing in the comment section below. In terms of range, I didn't notice any quality drop when I moved from one room to another room, as far as there was just one wall between the rooms and there was some openings. I only noticed significant drops when I moved like 3 walls away. And when I moved from one floor above to the floor below, around 9 feet in difference, I started noticing audio quality drops. So there was like choppiness. So basically the range is okay from one room to the next room. But in terms of height, you might not necessarily get the best performance. Oraimo says Burna Boy tuned these headphones. To see this, or at least hear this in action, once you open the app and head to Equalizer, you will immediately see that it's selected by default to Burna Boy's tuning. You can of course change this as you wish, but I would not recommend. I noticed his tuning placed more priority on the vocals and the bass. The drums of the songs I listened to with his tuning was far better and clearer. Listening to his own songs even sounded best with his tuning. Honestly, there is no need for you to change this unless you prefer a particular style. Maybe you just want more bass or something. You can tweak these settings, but I would not recommend you change it at all. ANT, or active noise cancellation, is another feature that the SpacePods have. From my usage, there is a noticeable difference when I switch from transparency to noise cancellation off and to noise cancellation. There's a difference, and it feels very gradual. It feels like you are climbing an equal amount of steps. While the ANC is present, it feels best when you're listening to music, and I almost can't tell the difference. It does help to know that these buds are light, and in transparency mode, it almost feels like there's nothing in your ear. I made a video comparing Oraimo's flagship headphones at the time to Apple's AirPods Pro, and there are people that actually prefer like a heavyweight headphone on their ear just so that they know that there's something there. And some people don't want to feel anything. They just want the headphones there. They don't want it weighing their ears down. They just want something very light. Which camp are you in? Do you prefer noticing your headphones or not noticing your headphones? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this video so far, make sure you leave a like and make sure you're subscribed to the channel for more thorough reviews like this. If you've got an Android device, well, count yourself lucky. You have one of the most valuable features, well, at least to me. If you ever misplace your SpacePods and they are somewhere around you but you don't know where, say they are out of the case for instance, well, all you need to do is go to your device's settings and search for Find Device. You need to download Google's Find My Device app, and the way this works is once you start searching for your SpacePods, as far as they are somewhere and they are maybe turned on, they have battery life, it will play a very loud sound and it will play on either ear, whether the left or the right ear. Please don't put this in your ear while this is playing because it is very deafening. But you can choose to play which ear, you can choose to mute it once you found your headphone. And I just think it's very useful. It's like one of those quality of life features at least. Just like I mentioned earlier, these headphones are pretty comfortable to wear. There's also this divide between people who prefer wireless buds with ear tips and people who absolutely hate ear tips and they prefer those flat ones. For some people, buds or pods with ear tips will stay in their ears. And the reverse is the case for people who prefer flat buds. Are you team flat buds or team ear tips? Anyway, all the variations of these SpacePods at least come with ear tips and they stayed quite well in my ear. If it doesn't fit, there are 3 sets of ear tips. There's small, medium, and large. And the medium is the one that is pre-installed. You can always swap to test which one you prefer. Overall, what I liked in terms of comfort was just how lightweight the buds are. It's very light and it doesn't feel cheap at the same time. If I wasn't returning these headphones, I might have actually gone the Valor Reviews route and dipped it in water, but I'm supposed to return it. But they held up fine with a few splashes and I used this in the gym throughout. It also felt very nice. It also helps that the tips are antibacterial. Again, they're very clean, very good stuff. As I said earlier, I was listening to Burna Boy's latest album throughout the writing of the script. And after listening for 41 minutes straight, I started at 100%. And at the end of that 41 minutes, I ended the album, 41-minute album, with 100% battery life. Of course, Oraimo mentions that the SpacePods should last for more than 8 hours. So I continued listening and I tested the headphones for the whole 8 hours. Actually, I played music for 8 hours continuously. Now, the result was that it started dropping 10% every hour, which was interesting to see. I then noticed a 20% dip from 50% to 30% in the 6th hour of constant listening. This was me testing the listening with noise cancellation off, by the way. And the battery lasted until the 7th hour, and then one ear died at that 7th hour. So it powered through until the 8th hour, technically on one ear. So make of that what you will. But the true test for me was at least 7 hours. Ultimately, I could use this guy for hours on end, and the battery only died on me like twice in 5 days that I used it. So imagine a 7-hour flight, for instance. You can use this. You know that these headphones will cover you from 100% before they die in 7 hours. So that's quite a lot of time. On the battery front, I think it's good. Oraimo estimates 35 hours of listening if you put it inside the case and take it out as you're going. So I think that kind of tracks for me. I've been using it for those 5 days and it died twice. So I think it makes sense and battery life feels solid on here. As far as charging goes, you can plug your case with a USB-C charging cable to charge it up. You can also charge the SpacePods inside your case, of course, and it should take you 2 hours to get from 0 to 100% inside the case. I've used both headphones extensively for the past 5 days and I didn't find any inconsistencies or faults with the charging or battery life. Maybe if I could have spent more time with it, I would have maybe like shared some updates on Twitter or something, but yeah, that's how my usage has been so far. Alright, so we've said everything about these headphones and it all comes down to whether these SpacePods are worth your hard-earned money. Well, the special edition costs 200,000 naira or around $200. Remember that Oraimo is making only 20 of these guys worldwide, so it's more of a collector's item. The standard SpacePods are 42,600 naira, or just say $43. The price difference is quite massive for being similar buds. But when it comes to the baseline, there are just a few tiny things that you don't get with the regular one that you would get with this collector's item. Let me know what you think about this headphone so far from what you've seen in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay, Burna Boy is calling me. Are you okay?